So, if you've been wondering whether the Ukrainian strikes on Russian refineries are having an effect, they clearly are. What you're seeing here is a queuing of cars for gas, or I guess they call it petrol, I guess, in Russia. This is a line for the gas station. And I've showed you this before, but we're going to look at this in a little bit bigger of a clip here. Let's go and start here. So gasoline has disappeared in the Saratov region. At some gas stations, the price has skyrocketed by 50% in a week. I was already telling you that in some places it was like 4 or 5 times the amount of that you pay for gas. So if you pay $4, you're really paying the equivalent of $20. The dollars to ruble thing isn't what I'm after. I'm going for the magnitude here. It's like, think about this. If you're in the U.S. context and you pay $4 for a gallon of gas, you're paying $20 for a gallon of gas times a tank that's worth 10 or 20 gallons worth of tank. So you're paying $200 or $400 for a gallon of gas. That's the equivalent of what they're experiencing here, or they just can't get it at all. So, okay. Now, the most recent hit was the Ilsky oil refinery that was under drone attack last night. It involves 6.5 million tons of oil per year that's refined there. And that's after The Economist magazine already came out and said a couple days ago that there is like 20% of Russian oil capacity was already offline. The refining capacity was offline. Now, this is having an impact on the civilian population. It's also going to have an impact on the military population, although military will probably be prioritized over civilians. But there's going to be a second and third order effect here, right? So even if you can provide everything that's needed to the military, you still have farmers who can't get the gas, and the farmers who can't get the gas are then going to be not being able to produce enough grain or whatever, and that's going to create a whole different problem. If the civilians can't get gas, they have other confounding problems that are less important but still going to be having an impact. So here we see gas lines are only growing, and here again this guy's just driving down the street, and that's the queue for the gas station, and they're complaining about it. Now, I don't speak Russian, but here's some translations of things. So the local news in Saransk, capital of Mordovia with 300,000 population, presented the fuel crisis as a great mystery with no coherent explanation. We wonder what could be going on. I don't know what's happening, but somehow the prices are going up, or there's no gas, or whatever. This was just presented on September 1st. And like they're saying it like it's a mystery of why this has actually happened. Well, the real reason is the constant Ukrainian long-range strikes have taken out at least north of 25. This here says 25% of Russian oil refining capacity. I want to be conservative and say somewhere north of 20%. So 21, 22, whatever it is, it's had a deleterious effect on the Russians' ability to keep things supplied. So let's just look at this. For the 4th day already, there is no gasoline. And again, this is at this particular Gazprom's gas station. Since Friday evening, there are only dashes on the electronic board. Okay. And as you look at it, it's pretty bad. There are queues at other gas stations. And it goes on and it says motorists have been speculating why there was a sudden shortage. I can tell you why there's a sudden shortage. The sudden shortage is because Ukrainians are destroying refineries and they can't actually supply them. Now, it's not that they can't supply this particular gas station, but they're all interconnected, but not necessarily coming from the same flow. So it depends on what refineries are being hit as to what's not going to work. Okay. Whether they have enough fuel today, and in general, what will happen tomorrow, maybe prices will skyrocket. Okay, so that's probably going to happen, and until they run out, right? So supply and demand is going to create that effect that we were just talking about, where you're paying 3, 4, 5 times what you otherwise would have been paying for it. And then in some places, they just run out and they wonder why they run out. Okay. It goes on and says gasoline has run out as certain gas station brand employees of gas stations have shrugged their shoulders and don't know anything, but every drop really counts. Well, I mean, you can only hit so many gas station or gas refining operations before this kind of thing naturally happens. In Saratan's network, a gas station, Gazprom serves company which operates under a franchise. And so they're connected to a specific type of refinery. And there they explain there was some kind of supply problem. Yeah, there's a supply problem because the refinery operations are offline. Gasoline trucks were supposed to arrive a few days ago, but they haven't yet. Well, we're waiting for the fuel to be delivered, but it seems to be coming from Nizhny Novgorod. I don't know if that's abnormal. This is the situation. Tomorrow or Wednesday. Tomorrow or Wednesday. So you can't provide exact dates yet? No, I can't tell you. Different brands of gas stations work with different supplier plants, and so a failure in the work of one does not mean at all. And the situation will be repeated at other gas stations. In any case, an official comment, which the federal chain of gas stations, Gazprom, have gave our news request. It said that the problem is being resolved as fast as possible. And here's what they said: due to an increase in demand. Like, you can't make this up. An increased demand? An increased load of transportation. Like, this is how they're explaining it away. No, it's completely a supply problem. It's not increased demand or increased load on transportation and logistics infrastructure. It's a decrease in supply. That's what's causing gas stations to be temporarily out of certain types of fuel. Now, how temporary is temporary? A couple of days, or is it going to be an ongoing festering problem? And for my money, it'll be an ongoing festering problem. The network will do everything possible to reduce delivery delays. Stations with petroleum products in volume. Well, let me go back. Excuse me. The network will do everything possible to reduce delivery intervals and to provide stations with petroleum products in volumes that correspond to levels of demand. That means that they don't have enough supply. That's what this really amounts to. As a result, it is unknown when gasoline will be available at Gazprom's gas stations, but we are not talking about a global fuel crisis. No, it's only localized to Russia. Like, they're trying to explain everything away except for the thing that's causing this. They could have come out, but they won't come out. Again, this is Russian state TV. They're not going to come out and say, Ukraine just hit a fifth of our gas supply, our gas refinery supply. So that's what's causing the lack of supply. And so we just don't have it. They're not going to say that. The other gas stations that exist in Saransk are taking advantage of the moment and getting increased profits. It's just business and nothing personal. But that's not it at all. It's not. I mean, they're missing the point. Okay, here this lovely young lady is talking about this. This is in Taganrog. Okay, here we see some more commentary in Taganrog. The operator says that he drove around 5 gas stations and there is no gas anywhere. Then she says this is a collapse like it was during the USSR. Let's listen to this. Now, here's the Google translation. So the Google translation says, please, today I have come to the gas station and there is no gas. Vacation, only the ceiling. Only the ceiling. Drove to another gas station on PMK, guys. There is no gasoline again. Everywhere here, such signs as it is cream or in general, actually all over the city of Taganrog. Why do they say it's because of bombs 6 of these storage stations where gasoline was stored? Or our region of course suffered. I have this Nissan Micro in the city. There is only 100th gasoline on the way into the city. In principle, I pour in 100th, but I have no other choice. I don't know what to do, but I Googled that in principle, it is possible to face gasoline. So for now, there is only one way out. Miracle 92 is on the way out to the city. Please, today, come to the gas station. There is no gas. Okay, so you're getting the idea. So she's pretty upset because there's nothing there, or they don't have the type of gas that she needs, and it's expensive. Here's another video where she's talking about the same thing. Where is it going? Some kind of nonsense is going on. No, I went around 5 gas stations and I thought I would have to walk. Well, I mean, that is a possibility. But the only thing that I found is the fifth gas station on the way out of town, right opposed to traffic police station where all this is. Again, this is a Google Translate, so forgive me if it's slightly off, but it's doing it automatically. I don't speak Russian. Um, So where, well, the second one and all, you don't look for the second one, and at some gas stations only with coupons is with this anyway. What kind of Soviet Union, or what is this for the sake of some kind of collapse of gasoline is happening? No, I went around 5 gas stations and I thought that I would have to walk. Okay, so that's running back into the same thing. Okay. Okay, so she's clearly not happy. The long and short of this is that it's having an effect. It's having an effect on civilians, and it's probably being prioritized to the army, but it's having its effect. So they just have to keep this, but it's having its effect. So they just have to keep this up. Now, I was thinking about this and I was thinking, like, what kind of analogy can I provide that will help understand what's going on? It's kind of like this art on the wall. Like the Russians want to say, no, everything's just fine, but it's all an illusion. Look at this. Somebody drew this picture of a guy running, and as the subway starts going, it starts to look like he actually is. See that? It looks choppy at first, but once it starts going, hey, he's running right along with us, right? It's all smoke and mirrors. They can't keep that up, that mirage up. Even if the news broadcaster isn't willing to say what's really going on, they have to know that it's not just it's a global, they have to know it's not just because. And even if the newscaster isn't willing to say, they have to know that there is something not right in Russia. All right, my friends, tell me what you thought about what you saw here. How did the Google translation thing work out? If you speak Russian and you can see, like maybe you can tell me if this is working well. And if it's working well, then that's another tool for us. Thank you for your time, the likes, the shares, and the subscribes. And thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.